Waka waka Platinum Hunters, as we prepare to get our fill in pellets and maze run our way to this week's Platinum Trophy, Pac-Man World Re-Pac. But what is Pac-Man? Well, it is a remake of the classic Pac-Man World game, originally released in 1999 for the PlayStation. The remake was released in 2022 and brought the beloved platformer into the modern era with updated graphics, improved controls, and quality of life enhancements. In Pac-Man World Re-Pac, players control Pac-Man as he ventures through various levels, facing enemies and solving platforming puzzles to rescue his friends who have been kidnapped by the evil Toc-Man. The game includes familiar mechanics from Pac-Man arcade games, like eating pellets and avoiding ghosts, but it also features more intricate platforming gameplay with new abilities and environments to explore. Pac-Man has a total of 41 trophies: 4 gold, 8 silver, 28 bronze, and of course, 1 platinum trophy. Before we begin, let me warn you that this game has what we call in the business a platinum killer trophy, meaning that there is a trophy that will pretty much deny you the platinum due to its difficulty to unlock. Here, it is the Retro Gamer trophy, so trophy hunter beware. Don't let this game catfish you with its lovable and cheery exterior. But more about this trophy later. Another trophy to keep in mind is Open Sesame, which requires you to obtain a magical key. To achieve this, you will need to reach a grand total score of 760,000 plus points. You go about doing this by defeating every enemy in the level, collecting everything in the level, clearing the bonus level, and winning at the slot machines at the end of the level. Doing this from the very beginning will help you save time from backtracking in the post-game. Note that your highest score for the level will count towards the 760k, meaning if you speedrun a level, missing collectibles and not defeating all enemies, the score you would receive at the end, if not your high score for said level, will not go towards the score needed for the trophy. If you are dying too many times in a certain spot, the game will ask you if you would like to change the difficulty to easy. Decline this, as by choosing easy, your score will not go towards the total needed for the trophy either. Once you have aced a level, upon exiting you will see a gold crown next to it. You will need to ace all levels for the King's Crown trophy. Okay, now with that all said and done, let's continue with the collectibles. In each level, you will need to collect all letters of Pac-Man's name, and in each area of the levels, you will have a family member that you will need to save. To save your family, you will need to collect the keys that can be found either in the current level of said family member or in the previous level. This is why collecting everything from the start is recommended. Once a family member is saved, make sure to talk to them on Ghost Island for the friendly trophy. When it comes to defeating enemies, Pac-Man has a few ways of achieving this, and there are 4 trophies tied to said ways. Defeating 100 enemies with Butt Bounce, defeating 100 enemies with Rev Roll, defeating 100 enemies using Pac Dot or Bomb Attacks, and defeat 50 enemies with Bomb Dot. The King Galaxian boss fight in the 3rd area is the perfect place to farm this. Boss fights are pretty straightforward, but there are 2 boss fights that have a miscellaneous trophy tied to them. The previously mentioned King Galaxian boss fight asks you to defeat him and finish the entire level without dying. And the Crown Races boss fight, you will need to complete the race in under 140 seconds. This is not too bad and you should get it after a few tries, but you will have to do a near perfect race and it will be down to the last second. Literally. The slot machines at the end of levels have several trophies tied to it as well. Yay! Play 100 times. Line up a pattern of 2 slots. Activate a fever in slots. To achieve this, you must complete a level with an even score, for example, 2000 points. The easiest level for this is the Coruscant Cove. Line up a Galaxian. Easier said than done, but very doable once you get your eye in. There are 2 ways on how to complete this. The first is the legit way, where you just eye it. I use the peaches to help me with the timing, and the second way is if you finish a level with a score ending in the digits 765, the slot machine then will only have Galaxians, making it easier to achieve. At the very beginning of Ghost Island, you should notice a wooden board with a Galaxian symbol on it. Here you will find a particularly grindy trophy. Not only will you need to complete all 6 mazes in each of the 6 areas, but once completed you will unlock Maze Marathon mode, where you will need to complete all 36 mazes again in consecutive order. Make sure you have a decent amount of lives saved up for this. Your last trophy should be the dreaded Platinum Killer, Retro Gamer, which becomes available once you have completed the story. Here you need to complete the first 9 levels of the OG Pac-Man, and this is where the nightmare will commence. The TLDR here is that you need to learn the routes that you will need to take to be able to achieve this. Level 1 is pretty simple. Level 2 and 4 have a similar pattern. 5 to 9 changes it up. As you advance, the ghosts get more aggressive and the power-ups last less time. You only have 3 lives. 2 at the start, and you receive a third one when you reach 10,000 points. Unless you're an OG Pac-Man god, without a guide I don't see how you can achieve this. In the link, the video guide on how to overcome this monstrosity of a trophy. Good luck. After all the ghost jumping is complete, you should be the proud owner of an ultra rare 0.3% platinum trophy. But is all this retro gaming worth the platinum trophy? Let's start with the good. Pac-Man World Re-Pac is for the most part an enjoyable platformer that has been remade for modern audiences. The visual improvements are absolutely stunning, breathing new life into the classic Pac-Man formula. It's true that this isn't a game that's going to push the boundaries of your PlayStation 5, but there's something inherently charming about its style. There is beauty in the simplicity of it all, offering nostalgic experiences while embracing the polished aesthetics that modern technology allows. The gameplay itself is standard for a platformer, but it's executed well. There are several wonderfully unique worlds to explore, each offering different challenges and environments to keep the player engaged. The platforming mechanics are smooth and satisfying in the most part, and even the boss fights are a welcome surprise. These encounters are not only unique, but also fairly challenging, requiring a bit of strategy and patience. It's clear that a lot of care went into designing the gameplay, ensuring that it remained enjoyable without becoming stale. However, when it comes to the trophy list, well, that's where things take a significant turn. This game, in all its charming simplicity, has some truly perplexing and frustrating trophy requirements that feel like a major misstep in an otherwise well-crafted experience. For the most part, the trophies are what to expect from a typical platformer. Collectathons, defeating bosses, completing all levels, etc. It's familiar territory for trophy hunters. The issue arrives with the more obscure trophies that just don't make sense. Take for example the trophy for obtaining a magic key. That's it. No hints. No real explanation. You might think this key is hidden somewhere in one of the levels, and you may even get a little suspicious when you realize you haven't encountered it after completing 100% of the game. The kicker is the key is actually tied to achieving a high score of 760,000. Nowhere in the game is this information made clear. This vital detail that can only be found on third-party sites, which is not only frustrating but ultimately wastes the player's time in a wild goose chase for a key that isn't where you think it is. As if that wasn't bad enough, to unlock the trophy, you don't just need to hit 760,000 points, you need to exceed that score by a bit, usually 3 or 4 levels more. This makes the task feel unnecessarily tedious, and while the grind wasn't as bad as I expected, the principle of the matter is what's most aggravating. Then there are the 3D mazes, which are fun but somewhat challenging aspect of the game. Completing all 36 mazes is already a significant task and has a trophy associated to it, but the addition of marathon mode, asking you to do it all over again, feels borderline insulting. After completing that huge effort, being asked to do it a second time just feels like a cheap way to pad out the content. But perhaps the most frustrating of all is the Retro Gamer trophy, which asks you to complete level 9 of the arcade minigame. Why oh why is this a requirement? It's a brutal challenge that many players will struggle to reach, and is almost certainly going to be the last trophy you go for. After all the hard work you've put into the game, you could find yourself unable to earn the platinum trophy because of a single difficult requirement that doesn't seem to align with the rest of the game's tone. Wouldn't it have been better to ask players to complete up to level 5, which in itself is already a major hurdle? At the end of the day, the trophy list feels like an afterthought, tacked on to an otherwise fun and accessible game. It raises the question, why make the Platinum Trophy so unnecessarily complicated? Is it for notoriety? To make the Platinum so rare that it becomes a badge of honor? But then, what's the point of that? Gamers who have earned trophies for Dark Souls games aren't going to look at someone's Pac-Man Platinum and say, wow, that's impressive. Pac-Man World Re-Pac is an enjoyable, beautifully crafted platformer. Why spoil it with an overly complex and frustrating trophy list that serves more to irritate than to reward players? A little balance and transparency in the trophy requirements would have made this a truly standout experience. Instead, it's marred by unnecessary grind and confusion, making what could have been a perfect game just a little bit harder to love. In the end, Pac-Man Re-Pac remains a solid, enjoyable experience for both old fans and newcomers alike. It brings the classic Pac-Man formula into the modern era with style and charm, offering a fun, nostalgic platforming adventure with plenty of creative levels and satisfying gameplay. But the trophy list, with its obscure and unnecessarily difficult requirements, unfortunately casts a huge shadow over what could have been a flawless package. Instead of feeling rewarding, these tricky trophies often feel like a chore, distracting from the enjoyment of the game itself. If you're a fan of Pac-Man or platformers in general, you'll still find a lot to love here. But for trophy hunters looking for a smooth, stress-free platinum, the journey might leave you with more frustration than satisfaction. It's a shame, because with a little more consideration, the game could have been a complete package for both casual players and completionists could fully appreciate. Pac-Man World Re-Pac's Platinum Trophy is a 5 out of 10. Thanks everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I have more videos like this on my channel, so please look that up. If you haven't already, like, comment and subscribe. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all next time. PTR out. Waka waka.